Good morning, everybody. They said there's various people coming today, but I didn't think that anybody in this room would be that disrupted to require a police presence here, right? That's a tape laugh, that one. Okay. Welcome, everybody. 10 o'clock. I'll declare that the meeting is open now. Welcome to our little presentation, which will take place very shortly. But before we do that, I'm going to call upon Councillor Robin Sinclair to do a Karakia, please. Those who wish to stand may stand. Those who don't wish to stand, remain seated. Thank you, Robin.
E ngā tohu o te rangi, o te whenua. Hei ara, apologies. Hei ara kataki I a mātou I ngā taki e whiriwhiri ai e tēnei wā. I raro ana e te aro e ranganui ki runga, a papatuanuku e tākau katou nei. Whakamoa ki a tina, hui e, taiki e.
Thank you, Councillor Sinclair. So we're just taking a little bit of departure from the normal, and we're having our presentation before we have our public forum. So this is my governance officer, Jenna, who controls everything. So, hey, Jenna, you're the boss. So I'm just going to have a little speech first, and then we'll go straight into the presentation. So just what I'd like, will everybody remain seated until we finish the speech, and then I'll call for the two recipients. And once they're up here, you remain standing here. We'll hand out the medals and the certificates, and I'm going to ask all the board members to come around and shake your hand. And then if anybody wants to say thank you to us, then you're welcome to do so after that. So we'll get past that first part first. So I just want to involve the whole board because this is really special for us, and this is our first occasion where we've actually been presenting something instead of receiving bad vibes. So, all right. Right. Good morning, everyone. I'm reading notes, you see. So it's a real pleasure to welcome you to the special occasions we come together to celebrate an outstanding contribution made by the remarkable individuals in our community. Today, we are not just recognising their hard work, but also honouring the spirit of service, compassion and selflessness that drives everything they do. As chairperson of the Thames Community Board, I had the privilege of seeing firsthand the incredible impact that the acts of kindness and dedication can have. Whether it's through mentoring, volunteering, or simply lending a hand when it's most needed, these honorees truly exemplify the very best of what it means to serve others. This ceremony just isn't about presenting medals or certificates. It's about taking a moment to say thank you to those who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make our community stronger and better. Your efforts don't go unnoticed. And today we're here to shine a light on well-deserved, remarkable achievements. In closing, I encourage all of us to reflect on the stories we hear today and think about how we can make a difference in our own way. Whether it's something large or small, every act of service contributes to a greater good. It's now my honour to recognise the incredible work of two individuals who have given so much to our community. So I'll just read that part out first and I'll ask you to come forward. So Carolyn McKenzie. Caroline has been a dedicated volunteer with the Thames Museum, where she played a key role in establishing the Māori Taonga Gallery. She is also a strong supporter of the Kopu Historic Bridge and serves on the Thames Heritage Network, helping preserve the history that connects us all. And the second recipient is Mr. Sanford, John Sanford. For over 20 years, John has served the community through Thames Land Search and Rescue, alongside his long-standing commitment to federated farmers. He has been the president of the Kauronga Tramping Club for the past 3 years and actively volunteers with the Waikawau Boat Ramp Society, in addition to his work in graffiti removal around Thames. Thank you both for your incredible service and being a true inspiration to us all. And I just add personally, the work that you people are doing, without people like you in our community, we'd be a poorer community for it. So thank you from my personal heart. Thank you very much for what you do. It's amazing. It truly is. And we just need one or two more. All right. I'm just going to call on my deputy to hand out, because Rob said, well, if you're going to be up there, deputy chair should be there with you. I said, yeah, okay, Rob, come up. So,
Right.
call on Caroline Mackenzie and John Sanford, please, if you just come and stand in some appropriate place where your best side for the photograph. So, if you come here, I'll do the medals.
Yep.
Who's first in line? Oh, you're going that way. Oh, right. Where do you want to go? Come here so that the rest of the board can see you as well. Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. We don't do this every day, I can assure you.
You can't tell,
Come here,
can you?
come here. Together. You're a pair. Come on, you might know you're a pair. You're a pair. John Sanford?
Yep.
I'm presenting the medals. This is just very much like deja vu, the Paris Olympics, isn't it?
So there's a goal as well.
Well, you got to bite it in your ties. Okay. Congratulations, well done. All right, well, all right. It's like Rob couldn't get his time today because of the big time.
Congratulations.
Caroline, well done. And we see the work firsthand you're doing. Well, we don't actually see it, we hear it. So, can you do something else? Can you do something else? There you are. All right, Rob.
Well done, Caroline.
Just finish certificates around.
Thank you.
Fit them around.
Oh,
So people can see. Taking photos of everything here.
all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you very much.
So we might just get
Congratulations.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Caroline and John, can you just come for a group photo, please? And your certificates must be facing out. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, no,
Here we go.
all right, there we are. You got the best of best, yes?
Don't forget the whites.
All right, chest out, smile. All right. Thank you, team. Yes, sir. Okay, you can come up to the speaker. I'll just turn it off. On. Okay,
Right.
go.
So, thank you. First, I want to acknowledge there's other people couldn't come today, but the people that did nominate me, I thank them for this nomination. I feel very humbled. And yeah, basically, it's I'm only the chairman behind a lot of these organisations, and there's some great people out there doing massive work. So the second people I did want to thank is the community board. For first giving us this award, but also it's just for the general work that you guys do. We're the unsung heroes. You're the ones that front up the front and keep the Coromandel a great place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. John has said it all, but thank you for the people who nominated me and for all the wonderful people who are behind anything that I have done, including John, who's been removing graffiti from the historic Kopu Bridge Lighthouse. So thank you, you people at the museum and everybody who has supported me. And thank you very much, Community Board, because you have also all been very supportive of the museum, and we appreciate that.
If you want to say something about tonight.
Yes, I would love to say
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about tonight.
We'll put Rob up and lights again.
So this evening, we're having our final evening at the museum for this year, and our guest speaker is Rob Johnston, as a trustee of Thames Public Art Trust. Thank you for supporting us with this, Rob. So it's this evening at 5 o'clock, from 5 o'clock onwards.
Rob said to come down at 4 o'clock in his wine.
You can come as soon as you want.
Right. Actually, I might grace you with my presence tonight. Are we right for? Yeah. So we're going to invite you all out for morning tea now, and you can talk to the various board members. Thank you very much, John, for your comments about the board and things like that. Nominations open in September next year if you want to go. Thank you, Caroline. We do like the museum. It's one of our favourites. Nobody else knows that. Nobody knows that. Right. So morning tea, everybody. We'll go out through that door, and everything, God be willing, will be there. Peter doesn't like me saying that. Oh, I've got wait. So I'm waiting. Am I right to go? I'm right to go now. So we're just going to go through a couple of formalities. I declare the meeting back open again at 10:30. We're just going a couple of formalities first. Any apologies? No, there's not. Everybody's around the table. That's a silly question, rhetorical. So is that right? Public. So there's no apologies. Next item on the agenda is the public forum. Do we have one speaker in the public forum? 3. Oh, actually, I'll read the run sheet. No, the first one is Bill and Yvonne Greaves. Which one's speaking? They're here. They're not here. That's a short 5 minutes. Next one is John Sanford. Would you come up to the front table, please, John? You have 5 minutes to speak, and then we have a question and answer. Oh, you could have read those notes that Linda had there. You got 5 minutes to answer questions. You got 5 minutes to speak and a few minutes to answer questions afterwards if anybody wishes to ask you questions. All right. So your 5 minutes starts now.
That one, right? Yeah, I'd like to speak on graffiti because I'm starting to become an expert on it. The first thing is I would appreciate, because it was in my nomination for an award, as my wife said, don't put it in the press because we don't want them coming around to visit me. So I would appreciate if that didn't happen, because you don't know some of these people, who knows. But the background was I've got a block of land down the Thames coast. I had a bit of graffiti on a wall next to there, and so I got it off. This is 18 months, 2 years ago. It happened again, so I did it again, and now the last 2 years nothing's happened. So they've just left it alone. So what I have done is and I hate graffiti anyway, and so I've taken it on my own back to actually do graffiti around town. I've gone from the Karakia to down the Thames coast to out the bridge, and basically out to Waituck, and cleaned out any that I know. So I've got, before April, I got to about 160 individual names of people, and quite a lot of them are Deuce and Oaken and Fusk and whatever, but so they tend to be some of the worst ones. But anyway, I've taken them off, and one of the interesting things is that when I do scrub, I actually paint over them, and I've also got a thing for road signs as well where I can take stuff off as well, like a meths thing. And I don't know whether there's honour amongst thieves, but normally they do not come back to that same place. There'd be under 10% of the graffiti that of the 160, or it's more than that now, that I've actually done. They actually come back and repaint it, or a different person comes back. So I do feel there's a sense of achievement there. So where I wanted to go from that is that I went away for 3 months, and I thought when I come back, I'm going to be back in flat stick. There's going to be graffiti everywhere. There was very little. And in the last six months, which includes that from April on, I've probably only done about 25, 30 graffitis. Some of them is by word of mouth, like Brian, the policeman, I won't say which policeman it was, he'll send me a text saying, John, there's some graffiti such and such a place. And so, I'm talking to a neighbour, and they'll say, oh, the main street, because I don't go on the main street normally, but that they actually love the, what do you call them, the little boxes, which are power boxes or telephone boxes. And I think I've done probably every one in the whole of Thames. And but through that, so I've now got a heap of paints with different colours. It's been one of the issues, trying to match a few colours up. But I'm quite happy to continue to do it. But since in the last month or two, there was the one behind the prices, behind the foundry. They did 2 boxes, and then they did one of the roller doors. I heard on CFM the announcer saying it was on the day of wasn't Anzac Day. What's the other day? Sorry. Armistice Day, and he said, he said somebody's just done and somebody must have gone that same day or that night before, and actually and done some graffiti in front of the RSA bowling club thing. So that made me think, right, I've got to get into that. I've done some just recently behind the library, and so they're the recent ones. And I thought, right, I've got this all sus now. So, and it's been nothing really. Well, I thought it was nothing for a month. And then I was at a funeral on Friday, and somebody said to me that walkway between Harcourts and the bakehouse, absolute disgrace. And, with this graffiti on both the walls.
Yeah, 1 minute, please, John.
What? Yeah. Right. Okay. So anyway, so I did that last night, and so really, I don't want accolades for all of that, but the three things basically I'm basically saying is we're winning, and what I really want to say is that if anybody sees graffiti somewhere, can they actually let me know, and I'll go and clean it up. I haven't retired yet, and hopefully I can carry on. So we are winning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, one quick question. Is your paint donated? Do you get your paints for Resine or do you have to buy?
No, they're pretty tough on me. I've had some from a couple of people, and then I go down to the this what do you call it, the Seagull Centre, and look at the paints in there for different colours. There was one like just at the back of the foundry. There was one in front of the kindergarten. It was a brilliant green, and so I just went and bought one of the pot plants. $6. I mean, I don't mind paying that. I don't really. I'm very happy to do it for no compensation.
Is there any other board member? Yes, Councillor Rodley.
Yes, thank you for that. The graffiti is a subject near and dear to me, but I just wanted to clarify. So when you say you do some graffiti, you're meaning graffiti removal?
Oh, sorry, all removal.
Yes,
I do know
just wanted to
graffiti. Yes.
Clarify that. And you seem to be doing a very good job of it, but I wonder if there is some way of trying to make a slightly easier way for it to be reported, but without having necessarily your name in there, because I imagine you probably want to stay a little bit under the radar. So I don't know if council has graffiti reported to it, but if they do, whether it's then forwarded on to John or not. Is that something we might be able to? I'm not supposed to ask
area
questions
manager.
like this.
We can look into whether that particular item is recorded when the RFS comes in to council from the public, and if it is recorded as an individual item, then that might be possible.
Awesome. But yes, and we're supposed to only ask questions, but did you know that I'm very happy that you're doing this work?
Thank you. Yeah. If I can just add one more thing, is now there's a group, because they wanted me to come to Ngāti, it became an absolute mess, and now there's a group in Ngāti that are doing their own stuff as well, and I've cleaned up Ngāti totally. So we're winning. Thank you.
So if nothing else today, Mr. Sanford, you've got a volunteer as Councillor Rodley. Any other board members, questions? Board member Rakwa.
Through the chair. Thanks, John. The great work you've been doing. Does you need any more support to purchase some paint or paint removal items?
No, thank you. I'm pretty good at the moment. Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Awesome. If we need it, just be allowed to, we'll do something for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any other board members? Councillor Sinclair.
Just a quick one. You mentioned the power boxes, and we as a board have recently selected a couple of helped select a couple of designs for painting those. Is that something that we can strongly advocate for? Because it's an increase in public art, which I think everybody can agree with, fair enough. But also, would having less opportunity decrease the amount of graffiti as well?
Thank you, because I ran out of 5 minutes, so I didn't get to that one. But yes, so they won't go back and do areas. If there's a nice painting somewhere, they don't do it. And so it's, and I mean, I go down to one past mine every night, just down the Cowronga Road, and it's just, I think it's a great thing for the Coromandel. It just looks so great. And every day I just think, wow, that's a great thing to do. So, and I saw that you were put funding, and I meant to mention that, but I hadn't got there.
We'll take it. I tend to notice myself personally, they don't graffiti where there's murals and things like Touchwood. They did it at the back by the library there once, but basically they don't do that. And I've been around long enough to remember when we first put a group of people out taking graffiti off. So I really thank you very much, because you go into other towns and they look terrible, and here it looks great. And now we know who to thank. You're putting a face to a name for us. How many of you?
John and John and John.
Right, graffiti busters.
And there's two that I can't get. Is the Melbourne Cafe, which is actually a brick wall and it needs water blasting. And then the top of there's a top as you come into town. There's one there that the foundry will not let me get up there because they say the roof's too dangerous. Otherwise, that'll be done as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Sanford.
Thank you. Thank you.
So your medal is well deserved. Do we yeah, well, we'll go Ruth Efford. I just want to remind people that when you are talking, there's not only, if you're looking at the screen in front of you, you'll see, or the big screen up there, you'll see a number of people are actually listening in. One of them being he's gone. One of them being the New Zealand Herald reporter. So whatever you say, it's going to be recorded by somebody somewhere. All right. So just be aware of that. And that's why we use the speaker system, so that they can hear clearly what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you. And as I always start my little 5 minutes with, may you all be blessed with honesty, integrity, and open-mindedness with what you hear today and the decisions that you have before you to be done. And those that come here to speak, may they speak for the whole of the community, not just for personal gain. And may the Lord bless you and keep you safe over the Christmas period. Amen. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. John Sanford. What he's doing is a wonderful job, and it's not an easy job. And we had the church done this recently, but I cleaned that up myself. I got my minutes and what have you, and I read it thoroughly, which I do. And I was a little saddened and disappointed about the Rainbow Crossing Petition deputation that was going to be presented today. So I went in and I looked at the legalities of what the land transport ruling is for pedestrian crossings. And what is proposed for that rainbow is actually not a legal thing, a legal description of a pedestrian crossing. So to paint over the white reflective lines that are there is not, would then take away, or would, excuse the term, graffiti the pedestrian crossing per se. I looked at that and I thought, well, for a starter, if they're going to have lines, they have to be across, not length across it, as per the description in the land transport ruling. I then went into Wiki. I've just been given a phone that can give me the smart answers, and looked up what was the true meaning of rainbows. And it says rainbows are universal symbols of hope, love, happiness, and acceptance. When you see a rainbow, it may be a message of hope from a deceased loved one or a guardian angel. Noticing a rainbow could signify that you are on a spiritual journey. Being a Christian myself, the rainbow came after Noah's Ark and the floods had dissipated, and it was a promise from God to say that never again will the whole world be flooded like it was at that time. So therefore, it brings a promise. Unfortunately, there have been other people, like words that we had when I was a child, and yes, languages do change and evolve, but the rainbow meaning, and if that is the purpose for why the people behind wanting this pedestrian crossing, they are not respecting the other people in our community. I have no problems with people dressing or having a symbol that they like to have, but when it comes to having it in the face of all and sundry, we can't just go around and put paintings where we like. But if they would like to have a painting, having the rainbow on the road down in Grahamstown, by all means approach the council and have it somewhere else, but please not on a pedestrian crossing. Because if you've got people that have got very limited eyesight, that can actually be quite confusing. If you've got people that have, well, look at what's happened with the red lines at Mary Street and Pollen Street. Paint there, put your rainbows there maybe, but please do not put it over a pedestrian crossing that is there for the safety and well-being of both the motorists and the people that are using the area. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ruth. Is there any questions? Oh, Councillor Sinclair.
Pardon me. Are you suggesting that Auckland, Wellington, Gisborne, Taupo, New Plymouth, Tauranga are acting illegally by having their rainbow crossings? Is that the accusation?
I'm not making an accusation. I'm just bringing the information to you folk who have that problem.
When you said that it was outside the guidelines, I thought that maybe.
Well, it is outside. I was not. I'm fully aware of what these other places have done, but obviously they don't have a ratepayer or somebody in the public that look up the rules or the guidelines that are there by the land transport people for how a pedestrian crossing is meant to be. They've had extensive discussion, and that's up to their councils what they do. I'm just asking our council to seriously consider the safety of people, that a pedestrian crossing is a pedestrian crossing. If you want to have a rainbow, which I think is a lovely idea, but have it perhaps outside the Melbourne across and further up, but not on the pedestrian crossing.
So they are acting illegally. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Are there any further questions of Ruth? There being none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's Phil Greaves, Yvonne Greaves didn't come. Okay. Ooh. Want me to? Oh, just sorry, Councillor Rodley. No, yeah, no, we have one. We have one more public forum item on your screen in front of you. Just board members, there you are. It's an invitation to Christmas in the park. I guess to everybody sitting out there is an invitation to Christmas in the park. Thames Community Board contributed a sum of money towards allowing this to take place. So we've got a personal invitation ourselves, which is on the screen in front of all of you, or up on the big screen. And you're all welcome out at the park on the 6th of December between 4:30 and 9:30 p.m. Oh, it's not out. Yes, it's at the South School. Sorry. Not Rhodes. Did I say Rhodes Park? No, South School's at. In the park at South School. All right, you're welcome. So I have a mover, Councillor Rodley, that the Thames Community Board receives John Sanford and Ruth Effort as speakers in the public forum. Do we have a seconder, please? Deputy Chair. Oh, and the tabled invite as well. Include that in the motion, please. We have a mover and a seconder. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. 1.5 on the agenda is the deputation of the Rainbow Crossing petition, which you all got on your agenda, all the pages on your agenda. So I'll call forward Linda Davison is going to present it, and you can have another speaker sit alongside you if you wish. Linda, you have 5 minutes for you introduce yourself, 5 minutes to speak, and it'll come up on the screen in front of you. Looking down there, you'll see the time clock running on the screen. When we're just going to wait until the time clock comes up. And then your second person has 5 minutes, and then you've got 5 minutes for questions. There, a total of 15 minutes. Okay with that?
Yep.
Excellent.
A rainbow crossing in Grahamstown asked me about the 1,012 signatures on the petition later. Thames, Grahamstown and us want this to happen. These are the reasons why. Let's face it, Thames love the icons of the rainbow, with our rainbow steps, 2 stunning sculptures, colourful fence, bollards and the sign on the pet crematorium. Around the world, people love to walk over the rainbow crossing. We do it with pride. The rainbow flag has symbolised inclusion, equity, diversity, belonging and progression. which aligns with Flynn Salt's vision of council, empathy, equity and equality in our Coromandel 2024-25. Are these just words for a glossy magazine? I think not. I hope not. The rainbow community is nothing new. These are historical records back to at least 1830 in New Zealand, and it would be naive to think otherwise. It is just not hidden as it was. It is not suddenly fashionable. It's always been there. Latest census reports 4.9% of New Zealand are LGBTQ+, while sadly homophobia still exists in pockets. Through education and visibility, this can change. Thames has a significant and valuable rainbow community. There are crossings in Queenstown, Auckland, Wellington, Gisborne, Taupo, New Plymouth and now Tauranga, with many more to come. These are all funded by their councils. Both K Road, Auckland and Cuba Street in Wellington are both historical areas, as is Grahamstown. So therefore, there is already precedent. If this was Arrowtown, for example, you would never consider it. However, Grahamstown is mixed and quirky. So why Grahamstown? Grahamstown is the visitor tourist part of town, full of quirky shops, cafes, etc. Our rainbow and general community feels strongly it is the only place to put the crossing. Grahamstown businesses really want this. Furthermore, the crossing would increase visibility of our town worldwide, as photos of the crossing would work beautifully with the shop facades, particularly friendly to Instagram, Facebook, etc. Visiting rainbow crossings are a thing for the queer community worldwide. Yeah, it is. This would add visibility, which the media of all sorts would pick up like a sponge. Youth. It is particularly difficult for youth in small towns, young, queer or questioning. The struggle with mental health and isolation is very real, and the statistics in small towns show the real cost. Visibility shows that they are not alone and that they belong. Let this be our town. Never underestimate the pink dollar. Ask any shopkeeper and they will tell you times are tough. This could be a very cost-effective way of driving visitor numbers up and promoting Thames, and a way to make it even more unique. A rainbow crossing costs no more than a general crossing. People have expressed fears that they would be unsafe. However, that has proven to be untrue. No rainbow crossing around the world has ever been returned.
You have 1 minute, Linda.
Of course, visitors would then explore further into Thames, including high-end restaurants. We already have lots of rainbow installations around town. This would be about diversity. You can guarantee that the media would pick it up and do a wonderful story on Thames. You may have noticed there are lots of ads now with same-sex couples in them. New Zealand business is picking up the power of the pink dollar and they want a piece of it. They are after the pink tick, where they are known to the gay community as a safe place to shop and do business. These organisations and businesses want to move forward in a safe and equitable way. We support those who support us. Simple. I know you. We are all passionate about Thames. We might have slightly different lenses, but our goals are the same. We want Thames to flourish. Inclusion, equity, diversity, belonging and progression. Not scary words. It will say we are a town where you are welcome.
Speech before you came.
I did.
5 minutes. Very good. So do you have another speaker at the moment that's going to speak alongside you?
No.
Okay.
I
All right.
wasn't told that there would be another speaker, although I think Sharon would be an excellent speaker.
Okay. You got 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, quickly, because you're tight. You only got 15 minutes total. So the longer you speak, the shorter the time for questions.
Keep the language seemly.
I will.
Name, please.
Kia ora, my name's Sharon Soul. Kia ora, everyone, I'm Sharon Soul. Currently, I'm working at the Karakia Supported Lifestyle Trust. And our client base, there is a huge diverse community at the Karakia Supported Lifestyle Trust, and they are one of the main employers in Thames. So to support those individuals that we care for down there who are diverse in many ways. We've got gay ones, we've got non-binary, you name it, those lovely people down there live their lives. And for them to see a rainbow crossing to support their diversity, the mana of those individuals who get looked down on, not so much in Thames, but in general in the public, it will lift their wairoa, it will lift Thames wairoa, because Thames people do care about those people at the Lifestyle Trust, and where they are included. So to have another way of saying we support diversity, we support difference, we support spiritual journeys for these people and for other people to learn acceptance, I think a rainbow crossing would be a good role model. Kia ora.
Thank you very much. Do you want to remain there for questions, just in case?
All right.
How do you spell your surname, please?
S-O-L-E.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Oof. So today, we just accept your deputation. We do not make a decision. The board does not make a decision. So we just accept your deputation, and we'll it goes down the chain to those who do make the decision.
Okay, so can I talk about the signatures? Inform you about the signatures?
Councillor Rodney has a question.
Could you please tell us about the signatures?
Thank you, Councillor Rodney. There's 1,012 signatures. And for Grahamstown businesses themselves, there was 28 signatures. And there was one objection, and three Grahamstown businesses didn't think it would make any difference to their business. But there was 28 of them did. So that shows that they really want it. In fact, one of the businesses there started the thought of this, right? And we just picked it up and ran with it.
Did you go to all the businesses in Grahamstown and ask their owners?
Didn't go to you.
No. So any particular reason why you didn't come to me?
Because I knew you weren't that keen. And also you couldn't sign anyway because you're on the committee.
That would have been a better reason.
Yeah.
Board member Mackenzie.
Have you considered that if the crossing does come through, that we might encourage that, that it might encourage graffiti on it for people who don't agree with it?
First, I would encourage that it would be a good idea to have cameras on it, but there should be more cameras in Grahamstown anyway. There is a real need for more cameras around the shopping areas. And, you know, there'll be graffiti everywhere, as John brought up. It's actually now in Gisborne, they got the people who got caught doing that, I believe they got done for a hate crime. So that you'd be pretty stupid to do that. A hate crime is not something you want on your record.
Councillor Sinclair.
Kia ora, Linda. I applaud that you've gone to so many of the different businesses and that you've canvassed this very widely. And I read through all of the signatures, and it seemed that there was quite a difference in the level of handwriting ability of some of the people in there. No. So some of the people maybe are just practicing signatures for the first time, and some people have been practicing their signatures for a very long time. And so I wondered if you could speak to the diversity of the people who have been supportive of this. And I know that you've had people at the market with the signatures, and I wondered if you could just comment on the range of support. So you haven't gone out and asked 1,000 gay people to sign this. This is a
no, we definitely haven't.
Across the whole of the community.
Yeah,
I wondered if you could just speak to those people.
Yeah. So we were at the market, plus we were also at, these were in the shops as well. There was Huia, there was GBD, there was Melbourne, the gym, the glass shop. There was lots of shops. And also at the market, there was, you might have noticed some signatures that had lines through them with my initials. That was children who begged to go on the signatures. And then when they went away, I had to mark them out. And the other ones would have been from the Lifestyle Trust. Yeah.
So I'm right in assuming that this is a petition signed by a very broad range of people across the whole community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's actually worldwide, wasn't it? Because I see a name in Sydney there.
Right.
Interesting, people in Sydney thought we should have a rainbow crossing in Grahamstown. I just want to make one thing very abundantly clear, particularly if we've got Al Williams listening, is that the rainbow that you talk about at the pet crematorium is a rainbow bridge. It's got nothing to do with
Yeah.
LGBTQ
Yeah.
plus.
And same with all the other rainbows.
So ours is not.
Yeah.
Ours is at Rainbow Bridge,
crossing.
which is a poem about author unknown, about animals crossing over the Rainbow Bridge and waiting on the other side for their owners.
Okay.
So it's slightly different. I never checked the owners to see what the animals' background is, whether they can cross the bridge or not, but they do cross the bridge. And we all like to think that the animals are waiting for us to turn up there.
Yes.
So,
And
Councillor Rod, oh, sorry.
It's lovely.
Yeah, no, I just want to make it clear that
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
thinks that I'm
No.
right. Councillor Rodley?
So this is more a question to the chair.
Huh.
I know when previous deputations have come to public forum of the Thames Community Board, sometimes there is something additionally that happens, whether they go on a action schedule or whether we ask for something to happen to them. So I just wanted to make sure that I think the comment was made earlier, well, this, goes off somewhere and it's not us that make decisions, but I just wanted to make sure that this isn't just going to what the process might be. Is that appropriate to ask that, or am I out of turn, out of line?
Ever. Basically, it's not my decision to make. We're told we have deputation. The only thing I said about deputation, they could have 15 minutes for deputation. We don't make a decision because it's not an agenda item in terms of asking for us to make a decision, but we will be moving to receive it shortly. And my assumption is that it will go to the roading manager, as he is the one that makes all the rules around about what happens on the roads in Thames. And that's basically what was confirmed by the regulatory manager this morning.
And it is legal.
Yeah, I'm not going down that path at all.
Mm-hmm.
But our roading manager is sure as hell will tell us whether it's legal or not.
It is legal.
You're on the wrong side of the fence, unfortunately. Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair.
So when will we know?
Oh, we will receive it. We'll move to receive it, and then our governance officer will process in due course. Does that sound like a political answer?
So I believe there's a meeting in February. Will we know before then?
Ooh, I think with the break over Christmas and things like that and staff involvement with other projects at the moment, I couldn't guarantee a time at all, but rest assured you will get an answer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Rest assured.
So rest assured.
It won't be before Christmas, I can tell you that.
Okay.
So the agendas at the moment are absolutely full. I go from this meeting to another meeting tomorrow and another one on Friday. So there's not a lot of room at the moment.
Yeah. Carry on, Peter.
Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. Just want to say thank you. There lots of work's been done. I think you spent quite a lot of hours. The question I have, do you aware of Pollen Street upgrade?
Yes. Yeah.
So
been put off for a long time.
That's right. But if they go ahead, there will be a waste of money to have something like that.
No, because it's been put off for so many years.
Okay.
It's just going to be put off again. So no, we're not going to. It's no point worrying about a rainbow crossing, not doing it because of because of the upgrade of Pollen Street.
Thanks.
Wait forever.
Okay. Did you get the question? Big bun? I thought you bent your ear around the corner to see what the question was. You were going to ask it yourself. You didn't. No. No. That was the opportunity before when we asked the number of people who want to sit here. It's not. It's just how we do it because we've got an agenda to keep to and a time frame to and we allow 50 minutes. It's not. We don't want any more discussion on it.
Okay.
So, any further discussion around our table, board members? There being none, I thank you both for your submission. And we're going to move a motion very shortly, which will encompass all the concerns you have regarding pushing on. So,
Thank you very much.
The motion is in front of us. Oh, is that really? Is that really? So I'm going to read the motion out to you because I don't think you got the full motion that I have. The Thames Community Board receives Linda Davison and Sharon Stoll. Is that correct? I get it right. As the speaker in the deputation, the petition attached A, titled Let's Give Grahamtown to Rainbow Crossing, dated the 19th of November 2024, and a tabled submission attachment B. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Board Member Rakwa, seconded by Councillor Sinclair. Is there any discussion on the motion? There being none, I propose to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Thank you, team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's now logged
Appreciate
in.
it.
All right.
Great.
All right. You can stay for an enthralling couple of hours. If you want. You can stay for an enthralling couple of hours if you want to stay and listen to us. Okay. 1.6 is no late items, is there? No. Great. 1.7, conflict of interest. Anybody got any conflicts of interest? There being none, we move on. 1.8, the minutes of confirmation as per an agenda. Deputy Mayor, I think there's a recording device that you pointed out. Somebody's complained on the screen that they can't see me very well. Don't you love something which is a little bit different every now and again? It keeps you on your toes. Thank goodness this last meeting for this year. With regards to the minutes of confirmation, there's been a comment made, and I've just spoken to the deputy chair who set out on that meeting, and I just spoken to the governance officer, and I'm not going to take any I'm not going to make any changes to the minutes as prior circulated. On the basis that if you are going to take an item out of, if you move and second an item, then that is the item stands. So if it's voted on, it stays. You can't come back now and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to say that or whatever. At the moment, that is the item, and that's as moved, and the item is in the minutes. I'm just looking for the number. Under item 2.2 in the minutes, do you want to check 2.2?
Chapter 64 of the agenda pack and
Yeah.
item 2.2 in the minutes.
So basically what I'm saying, it's moved by Revel, seconded by Rakwa. If you move and second it and you don't make it clear that you're not referring to the whole item or part of the item, then the matter stands. You know, the minutes are correct as taken on the day. If you make a mistake, you can't correct your mistake at a subsequent meeting when you confirm the minutes. Anybody got any objection to what I say? Yes.
Sorry,
Rakwa?
thanks, Chair, is incorrect. The subject I'm talking about, the next one, is not that one. The subject, I oppose it.
So which one are you referring to?
It is item 2.2 of the minutes, but it is regarding recommendation or resolution 6. So he is correct, Kishan. You're right.
Oh, it's just for the one above.
Yeah, so it's under that item.
Yep.
But it's that part of the item.
He didn't want to take all that matter out. But it's passed anyway.
Yeah, that was a decision.
Yeah, that was the decision. That's it.
To go back, to bring it back again.
Yeah. Okay, so we resolved that. I got good information from both sides. At the moment, we accept the minutes as they are. So you just have to be super, super careful when you're moving and seconding minutes that you understand exactly what you're moving and seconding. So do I have a mover, please, that the minutes as presented true and correct? Well, I better read the right word because I'll get into trouble. The Thames Community Board confirms its 23rd October 2024 minutes as a true and correct record of proceedings. So I have a mover, please.
I'm happy to move.
Moved by Councillor Revel, seconded by Board Member Mackenzie. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Oh, meeting schedule. Has anybody looked in your agenda about the meeting schedule? So if you can work out when the meetings are, please tell me. There's not many meetings in October, is there, or November?
Might be too.
Is that at the end of the triennium? Is that our holidays? Is it? Is that our holiday period?
Yeah, yes.
Thank God for that. I was waiting for a holiday. That's excellent. Right. So you all looked at it, no doubt, and were really excited to see it. So somebody care to move the 10th? Somebody care to move the 10th Community Board received the meeting schedule for 2025 report dated 31st of October 2024. Your question moving? Thank you, Councillor Rodley. Do we have a seconder, please? Open the discussion. Deputy Chair Rob Johnson. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you seconded it. Yep. Open for discussion. Yes, Councillor Rodley.
So I just wanted to ask our two board members who have young children if because I think there were suggestions made at when it was presented to council about trying to incorporate school holidays and things in there. So are you folks happy with it?
Yeah, wasn't you?
Or maybe
Through the
government would
chair,
like to talk about it.
Councillor Rodley, the cells that are marked in pink are
There's people in the room.
telling us what the school holidays are.
Please note the ones marked in pink. Not right. Not in the room. Right. Okay, we're right. Any further questions? There being none, proposed to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. 2.2. Thames Community Board CAPEX Work Program 2024-25 and other operational updates. Oh. Welcome, Luke.
Good morning.
I was told you weren't coming back ever again.
No, I'm just over the way. So it's an easy
Right.
live. Yeah.
Good to see you. Welcome, truly is. I mean that. Right. I propose to go through it because it's so much easier, triggers off points as you're going through. So we'll go through. So Kopu Marine, which we had a report at our briefing meeting, which I found quite disconcerting in terms of revenue. So I see it's just about done and finished. Is that correct?
Correct. So there's the last few items. We have funding through WRC, through a grant, which is enough to finish the last few items off.
Okay. Poacher Valley Road.
Can I ask?
Right. Oh,
can I-
sorry.
Can I ask a question?
Sorry.
Um,
Councillor Rebel wants to ask you a question.
How much of the WRC approved funding are we not going to be using?
We should use it all. As I was talking to the project manager the other week, the last balance is the remainder of what is available.
Thank you.
Board Member Johnson.
Just have a quick query about Kopu Marine. Well, maybe it's sort of related to CAPEX. You purchased or had sandblasting done on some of the pontoons with stencils. Do you know what happened to any of those items? The stencils, are they still around, or would they have been?
I can ask the question. It's,
thank you. We have a potential further purpose for them. Thanks.
Are you wishing to use those for another project, Deputy Chair?
I think it'd be appropriate, yeah.
Right, Poacher Valley Road. I know it had nothing to do with you, Luke. But I was disappointed that elected members couldn't go to the ratepayers residents staff meeting you had here, but that's gone by the by. And I understand the report's coming back, not to us, who have a vested interest in it, but to the Thames Community District Council on the 10th of December. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And are you able maybe to give us an indication as to whether the project is ever going to proceed in our lifetime or?
No, that's to be talked to at the meeting.
Right, that's a no. Thames South Water Treatment.
Can I ask?
Sorry, Councillor Rebel.
Given the fact that we were not successful with the one-stop shop approach, fast track thing, and now having to go through just the normal RMA processes and so on, what is that potentially going to do to the timeline for getting those consents?
So it would follow the standard timeline that we had originally planned for, should the project go forward, dependent on decisions made on the 10th of December.
So we never shortened the time frame based on the potential to use the one-stop shop approach with the government.
So the LTP was timed out as per the standard process, and then the fast tracking came up after that. So the sequencing would actually be coming to pull it forward if we were going ahead rather than changing it.
Thank you.
The way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anybody got any more questions? So around this table, we've got 3 councillors plus a deputy chair sitting in the public forum, so we look forward to a good hearing. And I think the chair is going to go to December 10th meeting as well. The Thames South Water Treatment Plant, that's, you've got, oh, sorry, are you going to ask a question on that or the previous one? Oh, Thames South Water Treatment Plant, that's basically you purchased the land, is that correct?
The land acquisition is underway, so there's some more negotiations with the current landowners.
Right. Thames clarifier, water treatment plant clarifier. Sorry, do you want a question on that one? Sorry.
Yeah, no, just a question about the Thames South Water Treatment Plant,
Go.
if I may. So there has been around council and the water regulator some talk about potentially that treatment plant being able to utilise individual UV filters instead of having a treatment plant. But I understand there are issues with that because the water is the water doesn't come from down in the ground. It's coming, so it's more likely to get muddy and was it
Turbidity.
Yeah.
Turbid.
So that potentially could mean that those filters wouldn't work, but also that the number of potential properties out there would kind of exceed the number that you could do with UV. So presumably, is it correct that this is required as far as the best and most appropriate way to treat water out there? So it's a very long question.
Yes, understand the question though, so thanks. So that question was asked early on through the the discussions around the water regulator. That is still being investigated, so there is no firm answer just at this point in time. We are looking at all the options. I am not a waters engineer, so I can't talk to the technical aspects of it, but there is no firm decision on what the end of line treatment would be at this time. The project is still looking at what the best option is and engaging with the waters regulator at the same time to ensure that whatever we do will meet the standards required.
Thank you.
Okay, Thornton's Bay slip. Yeah, Thornton's Bay slip. Has anybody got any questions regarding that? Kopu public convenience. I think we're all pretty much aware that will be started all together under the TIF program. Pirate Park, Queen Street parking improvements. Is that the same thing as removing the band room? No. A lot of money to spend. Yes, Councillor Rodley.
So with the Pirate Park, Queen Street parking improvements, presumably that's being done in conjunction with Waka Kotahi because it's state highway?
So the car park itself is our asset, and so while we would engage with them to ensure that interaction between state highway and car park is seamless, they're led by council.
Okay.
Yep.
So presumably no funding from them?
Not in the road corridor for state highway. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry.
Tricky.
Sinclair?
This isn't a question for you, Luke. Sorry. I'll think of one for you just now. I'm just thinking if we can maybe, and I'm sorry, park the conversation about parking outside Port Park, too many parks in that sentence for a little while, because I'm aware that we've had conversations about what we considered to be a risk putting a very busy playground next to a very busy road. I'm aware that the playground has been open for a couple of months now, and I'd be interested in receiving any feedback from the police or any data from the roading team about any issues that they have actually seen.
Hmm.
Thank you. Sorry, Luke.
I think this is all a very slow process through. I think that by the time they get around to thinking about it, we'll have probably 6 months of
Yep. So
data.
if we don't ask for it,
Yeah.
then we'll never get it.
You know what the chair feels about it. I think it's a very dangerous area to have a offloading
Yeah,
area.
that's why I'm raising this now, Adrian, because we've had a couple of conversations about that, and
Yeah.
the playground is heaving at any time of day. It's busy, whatever. And so I'm interested as to whether there's any data to back up the gut feeling that we had.
Yeah, sadly, that data will be a 1S or a death, and that's the problem. And that's my serious concern, having that on a state highway where the car door opens over the fog line. I mean, the fog line is your car's supposed to be within inside that white line, and you open the car door and the wheels are on that line. So you're stepping out onto State Highway 25 in a 50k zone. What we probably should have done or could have done or maybe tried to do was bring a 30k section through there with that park, or put signs up down by Ngāti Maru indicating they can go and park in the Queen Street car park, Danby Field car park, whatever name. We always call it Queen Street car park, and park in there, which begs the question with six places for disabled people to park their cars now, why we don't take those disabled signs out to encourage people to park in that area, because most people driving there will be put off by those disabled signs, but mark it clearly for private park, because there's a lot more people using Queen Street car park now, and they would probably take those spaces straight away. But if we mark them out as being private park spaces, then that would give 6 more spaces where people could unload their children in that area. Vans, things like that. Councillor Rebel was dead keen to say something.
No, I'm just clarification. Am I right, Councillor Sinclair, that you are requesting that if there is any data or any evidential stuff that it would be available to us to indicate, to help us make sure that, you know, the things are safe?
That is correct.
That's what you're asking. Yeah. I think that's a very good thing to be asking.
Thank you.
An excellent idea. No, I agree. I mean, do you want to park it off-site? You wish to park it off-site, because you can do that at the end when we go to receive the report, and you can ask for that to be parked off-site. Off-site, you like it?
I feel like our area manager has understood where my query is heading to, and I'm confident now. Thank you.
I'll ask her. I think, well, did you understand what the query was regarding this? That she wants to take that one out and park it until there's more information. That's not up here.
No, you're talking about.
There's this one here.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
But in regard to the item about the Port Park Queen Street parking improvement project, Jenna has taken a note of the request for information from or to be from NZTA, because it's a state highway,
NZ
and
Police.
so the New Zealand Police. So you'll see that noted in the minutes for this meeting. It'll be in the action schedule, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Which all goes approved that we do listen at the top table. Oh, my apologies. I did not introduce Cherie, who's sitting here as well. She's my legal advisor. Is that right? No. Cherie has come to us, travels up every day from Tauranga. Sorry, Cherie, I should have introduced you before.
She's actually part of our governance team. She's one of our governance advisors. So I'll sort of add that in.
Yeah, and my legal advisor. Yeah. Okay, Thames Sub-Regional Aquatic and
Through the chair, just wanted to highlight there is a supplementary attachment specific for this line that you may want to leave to the end. Yeah.
We'll hear from Rosalind, no doubt. Thames critical structure renewals. Well, that was an interesting one. I looked through that and I thought to myself that we'd be the first people to know if there was an area where something was substandard or damaged or poor condition. So I presume there's nothing.
Yeah, there are some items. I've talked to the project manager. We're just getting the engineering inspections done next, and then based on that specialist advice, we'll come back with a itemised list of what structures we're looking at for this particular project, and that'll give you the clarity in the new year as to what improvements will be or repairs we'll be doing.
So may I ask on behalf of the Thames Community Board that you advise us what they are, please, in due course?
Yep.
Thank you. Is that a better way of asking the questions, Peter? Thames Information Centre and fit out. You've all been, everybody been there? Yes, we're all there, weren't we? Why didn't you go? Actually, I think it's fantastic. I think Brand Matters, in all fairness, did a really good job in there. I mean, it was under difficult circumstances working in that environment, in close proximity to the TBA people.
Can I just say something?
Sure. Contrary to what I just said. No, they've gone. I've been watching. I've gone.
Oh, the media's. Oh,
Yeah.
Respect. People can watch this on YouTube, and I just think sometimes the throwaway remarks like that are not helpful.
About the difficulty of working there? It was. And I make no bones about it. It was difficult. And Rob and I, suffered the brunt of that. So I make no apologies for that. Yes, Peter, what do you want to say?
I just want to, first of all, think that the community board should pat itself on the back for choosing to fund the design and implementation of the information centre. Firstly, it does look fantastic and it's really good to go into, and people are going in there, which is terrific. And secondly, the feedback that the commentary that people are making about the information centre, having an information centre back in town, it's really striking a chord with the community. And while I'm on that, so is Porritt Park. You know, the number of grandparents that I hear just raving about Porritt Park is fantastic. So those are things where we as a community board have been absolutely heavily involved, and I think we should all pat ourselves on the back for that and for the part that we've played, and to compliment and thank the staff for the part that they have played in getting all those things happening.
Thanks, Councillor Rebel. So you covered Thames Parks and reserve renewals, Porritt Park in there.
Through the chair, I'd just like to acknowledge Luke for taking on this project when it wasn't on the program for this year. So he fitted it in.
That information centre. Yeah, thank you very much. Really, we've probably got the best on the peninsula now by far. Okay, Thames Parks and Reserves renewals. Couple of questions. Everybody got any questions? A couple of questions there is the basketball thing. What's the lag in painting the lines on the basketball thing? The $17.95. Why haven't the lines been painted on the basketball hoop?
Luke, did you want to
basketball court?
Answer that one, or would you like me to comment?
I don't have an answer. I'd need to go away and talk to the ops team.
So where we're at with it is that there was a competition run for the design, And so Derek's getting closer to implementing the plan. So it is coming shortly.
So that was my question. This board's put aside $95 to do it. Councillor Rodley?
Wasn't there also an issue, and I think Rob might have mentioned it, that the concrete has to do something first and then something goes over it and then some other, like you can't just do it within weeks of pouring concrete?
I can clarify.
Yeah.
Chair. So there was an amount of money for line marking only. Derek took it on board that there are other options where we could actually fully colour the court rather than just paint lines, and that went out for design input from people that, you know, youth and that use the actual court themselves. And I think Derek has got something back, and they're in the process of choosing a design. And then there was also the fact that they need to wait for summer as well, when it's good weather, to actually prep it, paint it and get it done. But the balance of the budget, as I understand it, so our 1,700 or whatever we had put in will still be spent, but he will pick up the balance within his budget. So that's as far as I know, and it's expected to happen over the summer.
Excellent. Just, I see the children playing on it. It's just really surprising me that there's no line markings on there, because it's been open since 28th of May or something. Right. And it's nice that the Boer War Memorial Replacement Spire as a ride installed expect to be pre-Christmas. That'll save the comments that every second weekend when you go down on the table, somebody comes along and says when the head's going back on, or when the statue's going to be fixed. I wonder if maybe we could make some note of that with our communications team, that is underway, because people are asking about that, repeatedly asking about it. The Boer War Memorial Replacement Spire as a ride installed expected pre-Christmas. It'd be nice if we had some publicity about that, and then we won't have to answer those questions at every fortnight at our table at the market. Handrail installation, well done there, Luke, if I may say so, on getting that finished and installed, and for Councillor Rebel for picking it up from the comments at our market table and acting on it. That's good. Well done. Yes, certainly. Sorry.
I just wanted to confirm the wooden handrail bit there, that's it, isn't it? There's some talk around town that the wooden one was put in as a temporary thing before a metal one could be built, but what we see there now is what is staying there, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So the Parks team delivered this particular project, so credit goes to them for getting this complete.
Yep.
And my understanding is what's there now is what's staying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. I've been telling people that's the story, but I wanted to get it officially. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Oh, certainly.
No. I think this is a really good news story about having a presence in the market every fortnight. This goes way back to March 2023, and person came along and outlined the issue. It was picked up on and acted upon by staff. And I think for us, as we sit there on a Saturday morning, to be able to testify to the fact that this works, you know, if you let us know something here on a Saturday morning, then it will be dealt with. And here's a really good tangible example. And I think the second thing is, it was so nice to get feedback from the original person who outlined what the problem was, and to express their thanks to the council for doing it. Yep, it's an 18-month process, but we understand that because it has to be budgets and all those sorts of things. But it does point to the fact that it's an effective way of connecting with the community on a Saturday morning, and the fact that that the council staff do pick up on the things that get raised.
Thank you, Councillor Rebel. Yeah, well, it's a good feeling project. There's no doubt about it, and all thanks to, even though it was on a campaign trail, to Councillor Sinclair for suggesting we should run a thing down the marketplace. So we took up that thought, and here's one good result. In fact, it's much nicer to see that result than here's a question about why your bloody rate's so big, high. Trying to explain that one away. Thames Cemetery renewals. Lots of work going on up there. Anyway, I might have a conflict of interest, sorry. Wormwood boat ramp refurbishment. That was a dead cert, eh? Right. Wormwood boat ramp refurbishment. That shows some initiative just by overlaying the existing ramp. Seems quite sensible rather than ripping it all out. I go with that. Top marks. Recreation facilities, Thames War Memorial Civic Centre renewals. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I put CCTV cameras in there. We're still just getting the right to do CCTV cameras, so they must have a different rule down there. Libraries. Library collection. Oh, collection development. Thames Library furniture and fittings. Everybody happy? Thames footpath rehabilitation. God, it sounds like there's something wrong with the footpaths or something, doesn't it? Or drunk or something. Thames street light renewals. So has that been put on hold, Luke, the Thames street light renewals? Oh no, not the renewal, sorry, drop down one, Pollen Street light renewals. Has that been put on hold?
So through the chair, I had a conversation with Ed yesterday after another community board meeting, just to verify what's happening with the funding for some of this for this project, given the NZTA withdrawal of funding. I've asked him to pull together a revised view of what the budgets are. And to enable me to then send that out to all the community boards so that you've got an up-to-date version. My current understanding of what the budgets here are, that they're not accurate to the withdrawal of NZTA funding. So it's going to come back to me with an update, which I'll send out to all the community boards, just to make sure that there's that clarity around what funding is available this year.
So has NZTA removed all their funding? What was that, the funding like around the 41 cents in the dollar?
I don't know the exact details because it's not my activity,
right,
that's
okay.
The request I've put through to Ed, is to give you that visibility of what is available based on the withdrawal of funding from NZTA.
Because that's Pollen Street lighting, forgive me for asking, is there any chance of replacing the heritage lights in Grahamstown on the Pollen Street lighting? Because that is Pollen Street, even though some people wonder whether they are heritage lights or not, and I've got to prove they are.
So the current scope is the scope for the project. So we would need to get some direction and change for that, but at the moment the project is the deliverable as per the LTP.
Excellent. Did you want to comment, Rosalind?
In regard to the Grahamstown Heritage Lights, that's an action item on the action schedule, and we can talk about that when we get to it on the agenda.
Thank you. I just saw a shortcutting. James, Martin, sorry, Councillor Rodley.
I'm sorry, are we on the, can we still talk about the Pollen Street lighting upgrade?
Absolutely, you can.
I was just having read the second bullet point in that, which says include the replacement of new lights which will have increased strengthening to be able to safely hold a flag track system and or fixing safely attached. So that seems to me to say that the current ones can't safely hold a flag track system. Is that true?
Oh, I'll comment, politically, but I'm sure the Liberal comment otherwise, but those poles and the flag tracks that were co-designed, so the flag tracks could fit onto those poles. Is it Spunlight? The Spunlight had now come back with a slightly modified design that holds the flag tracks in place. So it's got little lugs on it to hold the flag tracks in place. But we were assured back in earlier board days that was the whole idea of putting flag tracks on those poles, was that the poles were satisfactory to take that. So, I mean, that's news to me, except that I looked at the new design and they've got the little lugs on the side to accommodate flag tracks on them.
I mean, the main reason I ask is that it's potentially someone could look at this and go, oh, so we're getting having to spend more money on stronger poles just so that the flag tracks can go on them. That would be someone who didn't know the background. Someone may well make that.
And that's a fair comment. It's not a lot of money.
It's not actually.
It's not a big amount of money.
Existing poles can safely hold the flag track systems.
Yeah, they currently do. And you noticed the urban guerrillas are out last night and put up the Christmas flags on those aforementioned flag tracks on Street. If you don't, when you go out, have a look at the flags.
Thank you.
Did you want? Oh, sorry, Luke. Did you want to make comment about those poles? No. Wise. Right. This Thames Sports Field and Partnership Project, Thames, is basically this one here, isn't it?
It's
Right. Okay. Do you have any comments on the Thames Sports Partnership Project, Luke? Thames Surround Spatial Plan. Councillor Rebel.
Yes, so it says here that we're preparing to brief the community board on the next steps. When will we be expecting to get that?
We haven't had confirmation of a date yet, but it's likely to be as early as possible next year. It won't be this year.
So we're waiting for a confirmation date, what, from WSP or staff? Could I request that we go and request a date, please?
Yep, not a problem. We'll put it in the action schedule. So who's some of the staff involved in that, Councillor Rebel?
I'll defer to Rosaline Ward.
This is being currently led by Leslie Vipers.
Oh, I just see Glenn McIntosh there. I thought you could ask him the question. Is he not leading it?
Glenn's online.
He's online. Is he leading it? No, he's not. Oh, there, Glenn. Sorry.
I am here, but probably not able to answer the question, but I'll show my face so you can throw it at me.
It actually comes across very well on the screen, your face. Have you any comments about, is that falling into your new portfolio, or is that somebody else's?
No, through the chair, it notes that it's the strategy and policy manager leading that piece of work.
Who is it?
She's managed by the strategy and policy manager.
Oh, is that the one? Is that the one over there?
Yeah, Rose mentioned it. So it's in Leslie's team, and will be currently under Tamil, but my portfolio again next year. So happy to answer any questions now.
Right. None of those are on there, are they? Did you, Mr. Taylor, do you want to answer some questions currently at the moment?
Yeah, I was happy to answer any questions if there were any. I
sorry.
think there's more coming, more information on spatial planning coming to something in December to council. So they're just forming up the spatial planning program, and that's separate to the implementation of the Thames spatial plan. if that's, there's obviously two streams of work. So depending on where the questions go.
Right. Councillor Rebel, did you want to ask him directly? When are we going to get the briefing? You want me to do it? I'll do it.
Rosalie Maud has
Okay.
picked up on the action.
So I wasn't aware of that it's going to council. If you would like to have a briefing this year, then we would need to arrange that. So I'll need to liaise with Adrian and Rob on that.
No, I just
We
like
can
to know
wait
when
till
we're
next
going to
year.
get a briefing
I'll find
for
out.
around the
Yeah.
Thames.
He wanted a definitive
Thames
date when
around
the
special
briefing will
plan.
be. Okay. Shoreline management plan. Oh, no, I skipped one. Parks and Facilities Officer has got a report. One about the rail trail. We're going to discuss that, the sculptures. Anybody happy? Trust has begun planning the installation of the Miners Gate. Everybody happy? Or otherwise, if you want to know more about it, you go to the museum tonight and listen to the Deputy Chair talking about future projects tonight, and have a glass of wine.
And take $10.
And take $10 to get in, yeah. Unless you're a member. Okay. Shoreline management plan. Oh, sorry, Councillor Rodley.
I need to apologise, Chair. So the action completed there said that there was a WRC TCDC workshop on the 18th of November. And says next steps and may include a public meeting, further public engagement. Is there any plan, and I don't want to necessarily talk about any of the things that were discussed there. Is there a plan though for the Thames Community Board to be briefed on the contents of that workshop?
I'll look left and right and hope somebody's going to say yes.
Through the chair, I'd be happy to put that request through to the asset manager in charge of that piece of work.
Thank you, because it is something that we get asked about, maybe not daily, but numerous times a week.
David, that Councillor Rodley.
Mr. Chair, can I just clarify something on what I previously said? So the Thames spatial plan item in here, we had at the last networking meeting, Leslie come and brief the board on that. So I'm just checking how that.
Yeah, the board did a briefing about the Matatoki timeline. And so we did have a briefing about that and that specifically. If more information is needed at this point, then we can talk about when you get an update on other matters related to the spatial plan.
Okay, all happy? So we're just going to move this here. So yeah.
Is that one?
That's what we're looking for. This one here. Yep. Okay, we'll just flick over now to pages. Thames Sub-Regional Aquatic Facility Report. You include that in this one? No, it's not you.
It's part of
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
through the chair, I just want to introduce what this particular section is about. We can do these pull out additional supplementary updates for projects that are of particular interest to a community board. So as the first one we provided you for this particular project, we've put a background section in there that typically wouldn't be there. It's just to give you an intro in, and then it's we're able to provide you more detail against each of those other reporting areas of scope, budget, comms and the like.
Does any board member have a comment regarding that there? Project health background, Thames Sub-Regional. So at what stage do you pull the plug on it? Because you mentioned here it's not viably financial for the Thames ratepayers. At what stage do we grab the bull by the horns, throw the elephant in the room out, and so it's got to become a district council project.
So we've got direction from this board to complete the current piece of work, which the external consultants are doing. We have pushed hard with them to try and get as fast as possible, and they have definitely put the effort down, but it won't be ready this year. Early next year, we'll be coming back to you in this forum with an update from those in regards to the work that you requested. And I think it's at that point you'll have the information that you requested that will enable you to have good information to make a decision on how you want to proceed going forward.
I don't want to get into a political battle here, but at some stage, staff and this board need to talk about whether it's even feasible to keep pushing on with it. If it's not viable to do it. I mean, currently I see the ratepayers have gone up by 20, so it's now 5,545 ratepayers. It was 5,525 ratepayers. But based on that and other projects that we have, there is no way the Thames ratepayers can afford this. So at what stage do we pull the plug on it, or do we just keep on going and bringing back report after report?
So through the chair, the work you've asked us to do is feasibility work.
Yep.
So we will bring that back to you to enable you to have that decision.
Councillor Rodley?
I mean, that when we get that information, we will know. Yeah.
I understand that, but it must be at some point when they're sitting there doing the feasibility study, they must look and say, oh my God, this is not going to work.
But we can't prejudge that. We haven't got the information.
It's not staff's call to make that decision. It's to deliver the work to enable you to make that decision.
Absolutely.
Okay. I still think it should be upscaled to bloody district council level, not for the board to be making this decision. Okay.
So just to clarify, you've got a red area next to the scope, which is saying there's significant issues, but no plan in place. But it's really just significant issues. It's not, you do have a plan, and the plan is to finish the feasibility side of this thing and then bring us the report.
So scope is red because we don't know what the scope is until the decision is made into what type of facility, if any facility, you would like
so
to
it's
do.
that scope. Okay, not the scope. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
No worries.
So just before you go, Luke, we're just going to go over a mover and a second, please. The Thames Community Board receive the Thames Community Board CAPEX projects for 2024-25 and other information updates report dated December, November 2024. Moved by Deputy Chair Johnson. Do we have a seconder, please? Second, Councillor Rodley. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Thank you very much, Luke. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Okay, and we have speaking for us. Oh, Donna Harvey. Welcome, Donna.
Kia ora, board.
Right. For me, I don't understand maths and financial matters, so can you just make it nice and simple for us, please?
I'll do my best, Chair. So through the chair, this report, you may recall, and I think it was Hayden, our finance manager, came to speak to you during a networking session to brief you on this report that will be coming quarterly on the financials. Now, this report is a summary of the locally funded activities and basically the operating results for the first quarter of this financial year. If you have a look at the report, you will see, and we also, like from a finance perspective, we will also look at anything like significant variances, and we'll get an explanation of those from the activity manager and put a high-level summary in the report. If when you're looking at the report, you want more information, we can make sure that the right people are in the room to answer those questions. So I've got Glenn McIntosh online. We would have had Derek here, but he's had a clash, so he's in another meeting. But between Glenn and I, we will endeavour to answer any questions that you have on this report.
So, board members, you've had a chance to go through it. This is the part I was talking about, understanding it. So this top part, this revenue, that's the revenue for the entire year.
So if you
on the left-hand
column-
side,
So on the left-hand side where it says full year annual plan,
Yep.
that's the revenue that was budgeted for in the long-term plan for this financial year for these locally funded activities. The next column is, so basically what happens is we get the whole budget and then we ask the activity managers to forecast over the 12 months, each month what they think, where they think that revenue will flow in. And so that next column that says year-to-date annual plan, that's when the activity managers have thought. So basically so if we take the rates, the first line, for example, we were planning on collecting 5 million to fund all those activities this financial year. To date, which is the first 3 months of the financial year up to September, we were forecasting that we would have 1.2 million of those rates collected. So that's kind of, that gives you an example of what that column means. The next column, year-to-date actuals, that's what we've actually received or spent, depending whether you're looking at revenue or expenditure up to the 30th of September, the first quarter. And then the last column, that's a variance. So that's the difference between the second column and the third column.
so that's second, so that 5 million rates
Yes.
is out of the Thames ward.
That's the Thames ward rates that are collected to fund these activities. So that's not the whole rates that were collected from the Thames ward, because there's all the district funded activities as well that the Thames ward have obviously rated for. So this is the rates that was collected just to fund the activities that are listed below.
Sorry, Councillor Rewell.
Cool. Just as I read this, obviously, the two areas that look concerning. So one being the under revenue or the revenue deficit associated with the swimming pool, and the other with the harbours, which is the Corporate Marine Project. Do staff have a view as to whether there will be a change in those revenue lines, or is that likely to continue right through the year, which would mean for the harbours we're going to end up with probably something like $130,000 deficit there, and with the swimming pool ending up with a $60,000-70,000 deficit. Is there any expectation that would be different to what it's currently looking like?
I probably from the pools revenue, just from what I would know, I would expect that there to be an increase in pool revenue over the summer period. But I see Glenn's online and he may be able to answer that, and he may also be able to provide you an update on the harbours.
Good morning. So through the chair, the swim club is having some challenges with their numbers at the moment, which will be affecting revenue a little bit. But while the revenue's down, we've dropped staff costs as well. So we were providing a head coach that was a cost to us that we then recovered through the swim club. And that position has become vacant and we're not going to renew it. So we think for the the pools activity, we're going to be closer to a neutral position by the end of the year. And then for the harbours, it was always going to be a bit of a suck it and see for the ramp and the wharf once it was built. We didn't have historic numbers there. So we're definitely expecting a lift through summer, and we'll have to revise our annual plan numbers once we understand a bit better actuals at the wharf.
So you're referring to the new wharf, I gather?
Correct.
So is there any consideration given to, say, having opening special over the summer to encourage people to use that area for launching the boats?
So the activity through the recreational ramp is pretty strong. So we're not too worried about that. It's the mussel industry as a whole is really not having a good year this year. Sanfords have moved, I think, 3 of their barges out of the Firth altogether. So that combined with the fact that the facility was or is still establishing itself as a solution. I think I've gone back and had a look at some of the assumptions and around utilisation for the commercial wharf, and I can't see us meeting those assumptions in the time that we have remaining. There is some cost offset as well. So the budget that was prepared for the wharf assumed I think about a half an FTE specifically for the wharf to manage the commercial activities and the recreational users, and we haven't had to employ that person yet. So there will be some reductions and costs to offset the leaner revenue than what we're seeing.
Councillor Rebel.
Glenn, I think what I would like to see is rather than just, hey, this is what's happening, to perhaps take a more front foot proactive approach to sort of say, well, it's looking bad here. Hey, we can save some costs with the employee, but actually, what are we doing in terms of, or what can we do to perhaps engage the industry, or get a whole lot more people using the recreational boat ramp, or to kind of take a commercial approach to this thing and so on, rather than just reporting on kind of what's happening. I just wonder whether there's any consideration to setting up a group of people, or a working group, or a team to apply their mind to saying what can we do that would make a difference.
Yeah. So through the chair, we've started some very early discussions along those lines. So Briar, who is our new harbour facilities officer, is well connected into the industry up in the Coromandel, and we've tasked her with some initial thinking about how we can proactively approach this, but agree that we want to be a bit more commercial about it, if it's possible, rather than just passively observing the financials.
I look forward to the update.
Sorry.
I look forward to the update on that.
Councillor Sinclair.
When Councillor Rebel was talking a minute ago, I had a flashback for the LTP, and not in a bad way, about an activation plan or money that we set aside for that activation. Am I remembering Nutmeg Dreams, or did we not put money aside for activation of the wharf and the space? You can get back to me on that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, through the chair, I'll definitely have to get back to you on that, because it hasn't rung any bells with me.
We had a discussion, and I can't remember whether we did fund it or not, but exactly to your point, Peter, that was we've got this shiny new facility. We should be proactively engaging business in how to use it.
So Councillor Sinclair said that much more nicely than I did. But with regards to that, we did have a report from Bri here in our chamber, and you said that you're very happy with the launching and the recreational side of it. I got the distinct impression, and I could be wrong because I am hard of hearing and old, but that she said there were 75 movements since May in and out of there. So that doesn't talk a lot when you think of that there's 200 boats a day on the weekend up at Waikawao. So if we got 75 since May till when she reported at the network meeting just a few weeks ago, and Waikawao has 200 boats, up to 400 on some weekends per day up there. So somewhere we're missing out, and I'm not going to, I'll discuss it offline, but our charges just seem to be a little bit OTT for a brand new facility.
Mr. Chairman, can I just correct something?
Hmm.
When Briar reported to us, she said that there had been 75 passes sold.
Oh, sorry, 75 passes sold,
Yes,
so we
but
don't know
that
the
could be
movements.
one person buying a pass and using it every day, and it would just look like one pass because that's how the system works.
Yeah.
So that is
So were they passes $115 or were they day passes?
we asked her to bring that information
Yeah.
back the next time she briefs us because the information that she had for us was just a total of 75 sold.
Okay.
But that could be 75 annual passes or 75 day passes or a mixture in between.
Never argue when you've got a lady that's keeping the records. Right. Anybody else? Oh, Tishan, go board member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. Good afternoon. So yeah, I got just a small question. As we know, we got a wonderful facility, but that not utilizing as what we plan. So please, you guys can come up with this plan. How can we utilize or generate some money? That's just a request, please.
Okay, I've got two messages. One's to get back on track. So anybody else got any questions? Going down through with Donna Harvey. Being none. I'll be told what the motion is now. Does somebody care to move that Thames Community Board receives the Community Board financial operating results first quarter dated 8th of November 2024, moved by Board Member Rakwa, seconded by Board Member Mackenzie. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. I want to thank both of you. Do you want to abstain?
No, but I would like the opportunity to say aye.
You've got it. You've got it. Use it. Thank you. Thank you. You want to see the notes I've got here? I haven't got time for people to say aye and nay. So, Donna, sorry.
Chair, if I may, I would just like to take this opportunity to introduce our new Chief Financial Officer to the board, Peter Bridgewater, who's sitting up the back. Peter's been here for about a month, so he's still getting up to speed with everything and with council. But yeah, I just really would like to put a face to a name and introduce Peter to you all.
Welcome. And don't be put off by our meeting. Welcome, welcome.
And may I ask how your team did in the I won't say the name of the place, in the popular pub quiz last night?
There's only one pub. Is that why Mel's not here today? Yep. What is it? Community partnership update? 2.4? Okay. Welcome, Helen. You're the last one before lunch, so.
was. Okay. Apart from that, is there any questions?
Oh, did you ask that question? Does anybody have any questions? I've got one. I just haven't having Rosalind look up some information. Anybody got any questions, please? So the thing I was looking at, Helen, which is something I raised before, is the driver's license program. And Thames Community Board has subsidised that twice in this financial year, but we never get any recognition for it.
Oh, I can follow that up with when we do the funding agreement with them. Part of that is that we ask them to, recognise us in any of their communications out about that. So I can follow that up with the Thames community.
So you've got Ngāti Maru here, you've got Valley Education Training and Thames Community Centre, and yet we've funded 2 tranches of that. It's just that if we're using ratepayers' money, as we are, I think it'd be nice that ratepayers saw where some of their money was going in towards educating children about driving and things like that. We've got to get every ounce of publicity we can get, otherwise community boards are just going to disappear underneath the water.
I can definitely take that back to them.
Thank you. That doesn't mean that we pose for photographs, we just want some words. Oh, Councillor Rebel's putting his hand up to pose. Any questions, please, before lunch? Oh, go on.
No, I was just, so the thing I think you're saying, Mr. Chair, is that in your report, Helen, you've talked about the Mayor's Task Force for Jobs funding a component of driver licensing, and then the Community Board has also funded one of those organisations through our discretionary fund. So I think that's where that's coming. That's what you're getting at, isn't it, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Could what is the value of the funding for? You can get back to us later if it's not on the top of your head, because I should have emailed you before. But we support those 3 organisations to do the driver licensing. Is that is there a discrete number of people that benefits, or is it just sort of generally? Because I know when we did our discretionary funding, it was for a discrete number of people to go through a particular program.
So through the chair, the funding for this particular one is externally sourced. So I've got funding from the Ministry of Social Development, particularly for that driver licensing, and it depends on the class of driver licensing. So we've funded in the past a defensive driving course, and therefore it's for 10 youth 16 to 24 that are not on employment. But if it's a learner's license or restricted license, then it's discrete one-on-one funding, and it depends on whether they need to hire a vehicle or not. So it's when we do the summary report, I can bring that back to the board about how many people that did support, because it does depend on the class of license.
Excellent. So you're reporting to us about council having been a conduit for the funds externally towards local organisations, as opposed to us funding it from the ratepayer.
That's correct.
And what you're talking about. Thank you.
So I can just tell you that the amount we've funded is $7,655 so far for that driver's training. Do we have any? Oh, board member Mackenzie.
For the task force for jobs, for the Mayor's Task Force, is that something you guys, like when you go into partnership with a business and feed those kids through there, do you guys still stay in contact with the kids and the businesses to make sure that everything is working out well? And have you ever had so another question, have you ever had situations where sometimes it's not working so much for the employers, and is it easy for them to retract back, or is it quite a process to go, well, once they're in the employment, you've actually got to go through the legal steps of how to, maybe it's not working out the situation?
So, yes, definitely there's a lot of wraparound support, and in Thames we use Ngāti Maru, or we've used Valley Education, but for instance placements in Whangamata, we might do a contract with Whangatai Youth Trust to provide that wraparound support, both to the job seeker that's been placed into employment, plus the employer. Not all, in most situations, we've managed to negotiate some Ministry of Social Development funding to support the employer, and we do keep in touch with the employer. And there's been one or two situations where there's one apprenticeship which 4 months into it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it was actually really simple. We just helped the employer go through that process of stopping the subsidy from Ministry of Social Development. So I think that's the benefit, is having our team plus the groups that we support in the community to help with the pastoral care, to provide that wraparound support for that whole employer job seeker relationship.
Yeah.
Mm.
Another question, if I can. How do these young people get into the Mayor's Task Force for Jobs? Is it like, how does it get communicated out to the community about that it's there? Because obviously you've got your job seekers benefit for the MSD. Is that, do they correlate together, or is this two separate things?
It's two separate things, and to some extent, a lot of we tend to work with groups in the community that are already working with the youth, and particularly your 16 to 18-year-olds are not eligible for job seekers. It's that, to me, the target for us is particularly the group of school leavers that are not in employment, that are not showing up anywhere. And by working with the groups in the communities that already work with those youth, we're supporting them to help them find the employers. So my focus is to try and drum up a few more employers, because we know we've got the school leavers also coming out, but also university graduates now coming home that haven't been able to find employment back with mum and dad as well. In terms of how does the job seeker connect in with the program, our focus is on those youth that are struggling themselves to help themselves find employment, and it is through those third parties.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Hey, any further, Board Member Rakwa?
Thanks, Chair. Just like to comment, I think it's worth it to talk with the TBA and they spread the words if there's someone looking for young kids to become employed. There's more chances there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I just get move. I'll think in a minute, but can we move in a second, please? The Thames Community Board received the community partnership update report dated the 5th of November 2024. Do we have a move in a second, please? Move by Deputy Chair and Board Member Rakwa. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Was that all right for you? I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge your age, and I should have realised you had a problem. Okay, thank you, Helen. It's really appreciative. And the total amount we spent is $12,000 so far since 22. I'm going to adjourn the meeting for lunch, and we'll be back here at half an hour, 30 minutes, fine. Thank you. Meeting stands adjourned.